We are anonymous. We do not serve kings. We do not worship false idols. And we do not look away when leaders destroy the systems that keep people safe and then pretend someone else is to blame. Today we reveal a story about sabotage, chaos, and the kind of political cruelty that spills into the lives of regular people who are just trying to get from one place to another. What is happening in America's airports right now is not an accident. It is not random. It is the direct result of decisions made by Donald Trump and the Republicans who follow him, and the nation is paying the price every hour the shutdown continues. So listen to this. Airlines have already cut 1,000 flights through Sunday at 40 of the busiest airports in the United States. 1,000 flights. And just when it seemed like things could not get worse, federal officials revealed that up to 20% of all flights nationwide could soon be at risk. 20%. 1 out of every 5 flights. That is not a minor blip or a routine travel delay. That is a full-blown national breakdown. And you know exactly why it is happening. Because Republicans who currently control the government refuse to negotiate with Democrats to end the shutdown, even though the Democrats have already made a reasonable offer to reopen everything. The MAGA faction rejected it instantly. No discussion, no compromise, no concern for the millions of people being hit by their political games. And speaking of something you have to hear, we just got new video from inside a plane where a flight attendant explained the chaos directly to passengers. MAGA supporters are already melting down over that video, because when you are the ones causing the disaster, the truth hits you like a punch. They cannot handle accountability, and they definitely cannot handle a worker on an airplane telling the truth in front of 100 witnesses. Across the country, the problem started early. Long lines, growing delays, confused travelers, and families who are just trying to get from point A to point B. From Houston to Newark, from Baltimore to Los Angeles, reporters witnessed one of the largest air travel disruptions in recent memory. Travelers were tired, frustrated, and done with excuses. A bag of peanuts and a can of ginger ale are not going to fix this. One traveler, Dee Jones, described her nightmare flying from Chicago to Houston. She faced multiple delays at Chicago O'Hare, which ranked #1 on FlightAware's misery map when she checked. She admitted she thought about turning back and driving home, but she had a wedding at 2 in the afternoon and knew she could not miss it. So she pushed forward through the chaos because she did not have a choice. Real life does not pause for political tantrums, but the people causing this mess in Washington do not care about that. Meanwhile, in Texas, travelers faced a different kind of disaster. The line at a Houston airport was so massive that it extended outside the terminal. TSA security delays reached 3 hours. 3 hours. At that point, you may as well walk to your destination. And it is not the airport's fault. It is the uncertainty caused by a government that is not functioning. When controllers and security staff do not know if they are getting paid, when airlines cannot promise stable schedules, because federal agencies are not operating normally, the entire system collapses, and the real stress comes from the unknown. Will your flight be canceled at the last minute? Will your connecting flight get canceled, leaving you stranded in some airport hours or states away from home? Will the airport lines stretch down the terminal? Or will you show up 3 hours early only to sit at the bar paying $27 for a beer while waiting to see if your flight even exists? That is the America people are dealing with right now because of a shutdown engineered by people who should be leading the government, not breaking it. AAA spokesman Daniel Armbruster, who happened to be traveling today, said this is only the beginning. The number of flights impacted is expected to rise if the shutdown continues. His advice to travelers was simple. Have a backup plan. That is the most honest advice anyone has given in days. And after hearing it, many people are thinking they should just stay home and drink rather than face the uncertainty. At this rate, AA might be required sooner or later if the shutdown drags on. Experts even warn that safety could be at risk. We are reaching the point where the air traffic control system becomes unsafe because they cannot pay salaries or maintain staffing. People have bills. They need food. They have families. When they stop receiving paychecks, they will leave for other jobs. That is not speculation. That is reality. And yet Trump and his allies are pushing policies that make it harder for people to survive even outside the airline industry. They are actively cutting SNAP benefits. They are blocking affordable health care. They are adding pressure on the most vulnerable workers, while pretending that they are somehow defending America. USA, USA, they chant while gutting the country from the inside. But yesterday something remarkable happened. A few lucky people actually managed to get on a plane, and they were greeted by a flight attendant, who decided to tell the unfiltered truth. His words have gone viral because they show exactly what this shutdown is doing in real time. He explained that the FAA is asking every airline to cut 10% of flights to the top 40 markets in the United States. For Delta, that means roughly 540 flights per day on weekdays. He explained that international flights will be protected first because they cannot afford to delay those. Next in line are flights through major Delta hubs, including Atlanta, New York, Detroit, Minneapolis, Seattle, Salt Lake, and Los Angeles. Every other flight, such as regional connections or flights not connected to major hubs, are at serious risk of cancellation. Delta will attempt to notify passengers the day before and give them rebooking options or full refunds through the Fly Delta app as required. He apologized and said clearly that Delta has no control over this. The airline is simply following federal orders until Congress returns to Washington and funds the government again. What makes this powerful is that he never attacked a politician. He never named a party. He simply told the truth, and yet MAGA supporters are claiming he is biased. But as one commenter said, the fact that telling the truth is seen as slamming a party is the real problem. Another commenter put it even more directly. MAGA Donald Trump and the Republican Party are killing and choking America. That is not an exaggeration. It is a summary of the last week. Meanwhile, the White House posted propaganda trying to blame Democrats for the shutdown, even though Democrats have already offered solutions that were instantly rejected. The White House claimed Democrats want to shut down the country so people can have health care they can afford. Imagine that being portrayed as a bad thing. Yesterday, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer stood on the Senate floor and offered a reasonable plan. Democrats would vote to end the shutdown if Congress extended Affordable Care Act subsidies for 1 year. Schumer included a stopgap funding bill and 3 full-year funding bills. It was fair. It was responsible. It was normal governance. But Senate Majority Leader John Thune called it a non-starter and rejected it within minutes. Republicans insist the government must reopen first, and then negotiations can begin. That is not negotiation. That is extortion. It is like demanding someone hand over their wallet and then saying you will talk afterward. There is no chapter in Trump's Art of the Deal that recommends giving away all leverage and trusting the other side to act in good faith, unless, of course, the goal is to sabotage government and blame the fallout on your opponents. Then the strategy makes perfect sense. Kamala Harris reacted with laughter, but not because it was funny. Sometimes the absurdity is so extreme that laughter is all you have left. But the truth is not funny. The joke is on every American dealing with the consequences. This entire situation carries the fingerprints of Donald Trump, his push to slash benefits, his obsession with cruelty as policy, his refusal to negotiate, his demand that Republicans hold the line no matter the damage. It all stems from him, and Republicans are following him despite the obvious harm spilling into every corner of the country. While Trump lives in comfort, regular Americans are losing flights, losing wages, losing safety, and losing trust in their own government. Flight attendants, TSA workers, pilots, and air traffic controllers are the real people trying to hold the system together. They are the ones explaining the truth, while politicians hide behind press releases and social media posts. This crisis did not fall from the sky. It was engineered, it was planned, it was predictable, and it was preventable. But the people in power allowed it to happen because they value political leverage more than the nation they claim to protect. If you are tired of watching the country get dragged through chaos by a man who cannot even negotiate his way out of a simple disagreement, then speak up. Share this message. Leave a comment. Stay loud, because the more we expose the truth, the harder it becomes for leaders to hide their failures. We are anonymous. We do not forget. We do not forgive. And we are watching.